Hey everybody, this is the Livestream Rebel Scum podcast. How's it going? Andrew, can you talk?
Hey.
Yeah, you gotta get into position, Andrew. I'm trying to.
Here I am. Okay. I think I'm all good to go. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. How you doing?
Beautiful.
Can you sit down? You're not in your right spot. Your camera's all messed up.
Uh-oh.
Things are happening. I'll frame you. You don't move. You don't move. I got you. Don't move. Don't move. You're moving. Here we go. We're on the camera. Hey, everybody. This is the Rebel Scum Podcast live stream. I'm James. That's Andrew. How you doing out there in the land of things? I was trying to play Din's music, but we're having so many technical difficulties today.
We broke a record for technical difficulties today, everybody. I just want you all to know that. We always have difficulties.
Yeah.
Today, we broke the record for how many difficulties. We had to recall each other 8 times.
Something like that.
That's a new record.
Skype is being a POS, is what we'll say. A POS.
POS.
Not having a lot of fun with Skype.
Stands for problematic operating system.
It absolutely does. I want to play some Desert Planet right now. Oh, there we go. Some Desert Planet. Full blast Desert Planet. Let's turn that down a bit. Just have this in the background for us while we're going here. Going to just because we always do. We like to play some F105 for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, we like to have the music, the soundtrack of our live streams. Like and subscribe. That's how we should start things off.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. I mean,
in that order.
Oh, I have to shut the door. I can't shut the door. Hey, D Raven's here, Charlie's here, Rez is here, and we're here as well. We have some stuff to talk about. Andrew, check this out.
Boy, I wish I could see it.
Oh yeah, you can't see it. This is the visual dictionary for the Rise of Skywalker.
Ooh, I like that.
I opened it up to Charybdis. Charybdis.
Charybdis. Oh yeah, that's a fun name.
I don't know if anybody saw us at the top. We did our Ben Solo challenge. I dropped my lightsaber. I hope it didn't break. This thing's expensive. I built this with a kyber crystal. It's kind of cool. You can't see me because of our technical difficulties. Everybody else can see both of us, which is nice. Den F105 for all of you listening right away. The Rise of Skywalker. Did it reach $1 billion? It's coming close to. It will by the end of this week at the very least. It is a failure.
Hit $6 billion. I'm going to call it right now. $6 billion.
$6 billion. It's a failure from what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm. I have a question for you, James.
Yeah?
The thumbnail. I'm looking at our thumbnail for this live chat, and it is beautiful. There's somebody with like a crucifix of lightsabers.
Yeah.
What is this? Where is this from?
I don't know. I saw it on Google. There was no artist where I saw it. I wish I could tell you, but I can't. So if anybody knows, let us know. We'll give them a shout out for sure.
Yeah.
Josh is here. Josh, how's it going? Andrew's here. Who cares about Andrew?
Hello, Josh. Hello, Mr. Rez, Charlie, D. Raven. All of y'all. Good to see you.
We got some. They're all moderators. That's the best part of this live stream. Everybody could shut each other down at any time. Shut it down. I don't like what you're saying. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, yeah. Check this out. This is Rob got me this for Christmas. You got me something I'm going to show next week, but this week we'll show Rob Sand Trooper. I haven't opened it yet. Are you one of these people, the Sand Trooper Pop? You saw it already. You're one of these people that like you unbox everything, right?
Yeah. The only things I don't unbox is I have like 2 pops that I liked the boxes so much, I just kept them in there. Everything else, take it out.
Like, would you suggest I unbox my white box Second Sister Inquisitor Black Series?
The white boxes, I don't know, man. Those are... I don't know what... I've always been bad with like judging what's collectible and what's not. I would say hold up for now. See how the regular Second Sister gets circulated, like if it's easy to find her.
Yeah, okay.
If not, keep it as it is.
All right, fair enough. So I have stuff in boxes, as everybody can see, and you have this beautiful banner behind me. We're building a set. I've told you, I want you to be the one that does the unboxing for me. I want you to unbox my Black Series figures. Not like the Funko Pops. No, you're not I know you like your Funkos, but you're not a Funko guy. You know, you're not like Brock and Rob are Funko guys. Brock more than anybody, but you are not. You like your Funko, but you're not a Funko guy. You're a Black Series guy through and through. So you're the one I wanted to come in, and maybe we'll do a show where you're just like, look at this one, and we'll just take apart all the ones. Because I don't have a lot of them, but I have some cool ones. I think anyway. Like I'm pretty specific with what I get when I can, and I've told this story a million times. I wanted that Boba Fett Black Series, and it was in my hand, and I said, nah. And then all of a sudden it was like $298 on eBay. Yeah. And I was like, well, so now I don't get them all, but if I do want one, and I'm financially stable enough, I will make that purchase. So I don't have them all, but I have what I like in that regard. But Andrew, I got to talk to you about this little movie I watched 3 times on the weekend called The Last Jedi.
Never heard of it.
It's pretty terrible. It ruined my childhood. And so what happened was on the weekend I wanted to relive my childhood being ruined 3 times. But so we did our ranking on January 1st. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. It's a fun video. You had this number 1.
Yes, sir.
I don't think it was your number 1 last year, but it was your number 1 the year before. So why don't you?
Last year's a blur to me. Yeah, I don't know much of last year.
It's a blur to everybody. I went back and watched. I didn't watch like the whole thing, but I watched some of it. Look, we do ranking Star Wars every January 1st. This year, 37 of our combination of 37 of us here at the channel, our Patreon supporters, and our YouTube podcast friends, we kind of did it, and it was a lot of fun, I thought. But why don't you walk me through why it's your favorite Star Wars movie? Because we're going to get into what we're getting to is this rumor that the next High Republic saga, if that's the case, that Making Star Wars is reporting, the Jedi are going to be very superhero-like. But I want to get into The Last Jedi and kind of go work our way for that. It's just everybody listening and watching, there is a rhyme, there's a reason to the madness. So Andrew, walk me through why you like The Last Jedi.
That's a hard question, James. I think at the end of the day, the reason why it's my number 1 is because it did things with Luke Skywalker. It did things with my hero Luke that I wasn't expecting, but that ended up being so beautiful. And I think I've said this before on the show, I must have, but when I was watching the OT back in the day at 7 years old, I saw Luke Skywalker and I was like, I want to be like him when I grow up. And then watching Last Jedi as a guy who's 30, I think I was 30 at that point, I watched Last Jedi, and again, I was like, wow, when I get old and I'm an old man, I want to be like Luke. It continued, it carried that on, and it didn't give me the sort of cheap everyday thing that you're expecting where he's totally got his shit together and he's perfect in every way. It continued Luke's story. It carried on his arc, and they didn't have to do that. Any other writer, I think, would have taken the easy way out and been like, yeah, Luke is fine and he's perfect now and he's basically just Ben Kenobi 2.0. But they didn't go that route. They kept the story about Luke, which I think it should be. We were talking about this earlier, and I believe that these 3 movies should have like a lot of focus on Luke, Han, Leia, Chewie, Palpatine, the old guard, because for no other reason than they are called 7, 8, and 9. If you don't want the focus to be on Luke, Han, Leia, and the old guard, just call it something else. Make it a true, like a sequel saga. Make it whatever, phase 4 of Marvel is going to be, not the Infinity Saga. But the fact that they kept it 7, 8, and 9, to me, that's like, okay, so you're still telling the story of the Skywalkers, specifically Luke, Leia, maybe Vader. I don't know how, but I wanted them to keep that that train chugging along. Don't just make it like, I'm perfect now. Here's the torch, young characters. Go run and frolic. No, I wanted something deeper and something that I hadn't seen before, and that's exactly what Last Jedi gave me.
Fair enough. I was one of the people that walked in and never had a problem with Luke Skywalker. We were talking about this before. I do think the tossing of the lightsaber, the execution on that, throws people, and I think for me, I think that could have been handled a little bit better, because I think Rian Johnson did understand the gravitas of that scenario. I feel there's just something in it that I'm like, it's lacking. It's almost comedic. Like I said, the music even swells up and stops, and then he storms off like a child. Yeah, and then they proceed to kind of show that he's kind of gone mad. which again is fine. There's that moment. I think that throws a lot of people off. But like I said, I watched this a few months ago, and I absolutely loved it a few months. And I liked it a lot after the theater. I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10 in our review. For The Rise of Skywalker, we didn't do numbers. We just gushed because I realized we're not here to critique the movies so much. We're here to talk about them, right? Mm-hmm. And if there's something we don't like, we'll absolutely talk about it. Unless it's something that I like and you don't like, then you are banned because
that's right.
Because censorship. But like that was a moment that always got back to me. I only saw it. Full disclosure, I only saw Last Jedi once in the theater. But there were personal reasons for that more than the movie itself. Like I only saw Solo twice in the theater, and you know that I love Solo. And so far, I've only seen The Rise of Skywalker twice, and I think I only saw Rogue One twice. So really, I only go to the theater twice to see these movies. But Last Jedi I saw once, but I bought it on iTunes. Like I pre-ordered Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker, and I wait until it comes out, and then you get it at midnight on digital copy, right? So I waited, I got it. I was so excited to watch it. I watched it right away. And then I watched a few months ago. I absolutely loved it. But I did watch it 3 times this weekend. And when you watch, I think when you watch it now with the full, we talked about this after we saw it. When you watch it with the full knowledge of the whole saga now, everything plays differently. And I really, really appreciate. So Rise of Skywalker is my favorite of the new trilogy for what it's worth. I don't think that's worth anything. I like them all, right? Like, who cares?
It's worth 1/4 portion, James.
But it's like Return of the Jedi is my favorite of the original trilogy, but I know which one is the best movie of the original trilogy. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whereas this one, when you watch The Last Jedi, it's so beautiful. It's like so damn gorgeous to look at. It's a beautiful movie. But again, J.J. Abrams is a different filmmaker from Rian Johnson. And I do believe that these two, the 3 movies work well together. And you have the fun of the first one, then you have the anxiety of the second one, and then you have what I think the uplifting nature of the third one. And because it plays fun again, like The Force Awakens, it's fun, it's that adventure. However, like you said, I think they would have been better suited to have 4 movies because 7 and 8 feel like one giant movie. And then all of a sudden, you're forced to end it with Rise of Skywalker. Are you looking at the chat right now?
I am, yeah. I can't look at you, so I'm...
Look at the chat. Why don't you fill me in on the chat? Because I see it going, but I'm blind.
2Med2 just joined in.
Hey!
Yeah.
Oh, live stream, 8:30, 2Med2's channel. Check it out.
Yeah, that's right. Check it out.
I have some wine out of my May the Force be with you wine glass.
And Charlie Skywalker says, seriously, I'd really like to see what Ryan can accomplish without having to watch whose toes he might step on. If we can get a Knives Out quality, I'm all for it. I agree, Charlie. I think that, Knives Out is a great example of what a great director, because he is a great director, what a great director can do when he's playing entirely in his own sandbox. You know what I mean? So you get, like, anything creator-owned is always better. Like, that's just, it goes without saying. Like, look no further than comics, man. You look at comics, creator-owned comics are going to be better than, whatever Marvel is chucking out every month. That's how it works. So get somebody, it could be Ryan, it could be anybody, but get somebody who's just got their own sandbox to play in. I guarantee you're going to see and feel that love even more than you felt it on these ones. And these ones you felt love, but you felt it just like as the love of a Star Wars fan making a Star Wars film, but they were trying to walk in the same shoes as the first 6. This is going to be a different kind of love, and it's going to feel like the perfect fit. It's not going to feel like kids trying on their parents' clothes and being like, well, it's a little big, but I'm going to make it work. This is going to feel tailor-made. Yeah.
I tweeted out, and I love Rian Johnson. I'm a huge Brick fan, and I love Looper. I remember before I saw Looper, Brock was like, you need to watch this movie, Looper, The World. And I'm like, I want more movies I haven't seen Knives Out yet, and I know they're making a sequel, but I want to see, because I don't go to the movies anymore. I want to see like a Looper universe, I just find that universe fascinating.
Yeah.
And Rian Johnson, he's a very good storyteller. But, there are other filmmakers, and there are other people that directors, writers that probably want to play in the Star Wars sandbox. And I say, if that's who's announced next, which it really sounds like it will be, you let him do it. Because look, Rian Johnson I think he just said in an interview, unless this is from an old one, that Lucasfilm hasn't announced anything yet, but he's still in discussions with them, which is nice. But whoever they announce in this month, whenever they do that announcement, I want that person to be all in.
Yeah.
Like all in. I don't want them being like, well, make a Knives Out 2, then I'm going to make Brick 2, then I'll get to Star Wars. No. Whoever they announce is like, this is what I'm working on right now. There's no, like, I don't want anything else in their way of that as filmmaker, and I'm going to be greedy. This is the one time I've decided to be greedy. It's not the one time. I do it often. But this time I'm going to be greedy on it because if they're going to do it, you know, I think Benioff and Weiss, they weren't all in on Star Wars because they were still working on their Game of Thrones, right? They were still working on how to piss people off with that. So I want somebody that's all in on Star Wars, all in on whatever this movie is, if it's a saga or whatnot. That's what I want. I don't want them making Knives Out 2. And again, I'm not saying I don't want Knives Out. I haven't seen Knives Out, but not that I don't want Knives Out 2. It's just if he's going to be focused on that, now's not the time for his Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't want a sexy name. You know what I mean? I don't want Disney to do what they've been doing so far and been like, ooh, you like Rian Johnson? Well, he's getting a trilogy. Ooh, you like those Game of Thrones guys? Well, let's get them on board. Ooh, you like the guys who made Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse? Like, just give us a director who wants to make a movie. Don't try to give us the sexiest name on the street right now, because that clearly has not worked for you 3 times.
Well, I think though Rian Johnson wasn't the sexiest name on the street.
At the time, he was, because it was like before the movie came out, and they were talking about how amazing an experience they had on Last Jedi on making it, that they were like, oh, we're giving.
No, but I mean, when they got him for Last Jedi, he wasn't.
Oh no, I'm talking about when they announced his new trilogy. You're right.
Yes,
for
but
Last
that was
Jedi,
everybody wanted him to do Episode 9.
Yeah,
and then and then the Last Jedi came out, and well, that went. People turned on him pretty quickly, which again is, you know, it's. I think he understands. I do think Lucasfilm has a PR problem in a lot of ways, where maybe they should tell everybody just calm down on tweeting back to people and just relax. Although he did tweet back at me, which was very nice. He told me that a group of porgs were a murder. And then like somebody from a big magazine in like November, this was July, I asked him, in like November asked the same question. That one went viral, but mine wasn't good enough. So I don't hold grudges. Mm-hmm. I remember I was drunk. Brock and I were drinking on my old balcony. And he's like, I wonder what... Well, you did a podcast, so yes. And I messaged him, and I was just wrecked. And I was like, oh, you messaged me back. So now I've been blocked by Rian Johnson on all... I'm just looking at the chat. Heidi Fetter's here. Hi.
Hello, Heidi.
Hi, executive producer Heidi Fetter. Mm-hmm. Aaron's texting me, why are you screaming? I'm sorry, everybody. I scream when I podcast. Let's get into this, though. So anyway, the reason why I bring that up is because it ends with Broome Boy. And Broome Boy, there's a lot of conversation about Broome Boy, if you remember. You did an ending explaining, like, what's up with Broome Boy? Everyone's like, is the next movie going to be about Broome Boy? It's like, clearly this is just a little PS to show us that the Force has awoken and everybody around, like people have got it. And my concern with The Force Awakens and how easily Rey tapped into just hear me out. She tapped into it very easily in that Stormtrooper, the Daniel Craig scene. Mm-hmm. And then you have Broome Boy who just like, I'm just going to pick up a broom with my mind. My fear with it all was that it was too easy for this new era characters to tap into the Force. I like the idea that you had to study it and practice it, and that if you were going to grab something, it took severe concentration. Yeah. And I was really like nervous about that. And then I've read this article about the High Republic. I'm making Star Wars, and I believe it's that article where it says that it might focus on these Jedi that are more superhero like than what we're used to. And I'm just like, but I will say in The Rise of Skywalker, one thing that I absolutely love in that, even though It's never fully explained, and J.J. Abrams said it in an interview later on because I don't know why. The way they handle Finn's force sensitivity, and I was somebody that was like, I don't need Finn to be force sensitive. I love Han Solo, who's not. I'm okay with Finn not. Like, I think that kind of adds a dynamic to the character. If they're working on just being talented, not so much with the force. But I love the way the force was handled with him in that movie because he wasn't over the top. He wasn't just grabbing things left, right, and center. He was like, hey, I sense things, I feel things, and I love that they kind of withdrew a little bit on how the Force works in the Rise of Skywalker. Now, obviously, when you find out who Rey is, you're like, okay, well, it comes because she's born with it and all that. But I do have this concern. Yeah.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.